Thank you, Jamie. Hi, everyone. Welcome again, and welcome to our next session. We have a fantastic speaker from Zoho Corporation, Koo Chia Ching, who's the marketing manager. And today's session will cover scaling your customer contact experience offering in a post-pandemic world. It's 2021. Nobody needs to explain the value of resilience and reliability in the context of customer experience now. However, scaling any experience is tricky when the input variables all change at once, as we saw, right? So how can we, be the best? How can we survive uncertainty? How can brands be the rock their customers can count on? Is a question of people or processes or productivity tools. This session explores some aspects of this question and attempts to offer some real solutions. So Koo is the regional marketing manager, Asia Pacific region for Zoho Corporation, where he co-leads go-to-market strategies that prioritize product localization for the region. With over 10 years of extensive field service experience in the logistics and safety industry, Koo uses his multifaceted knowledge to advise businesses on software solutions. He has also appeared on numerous digital panelist sessions, advocating the importance of digitalization and how software solutions remain at the forefront of many recent digital implementations. When he's not working, Koo enjoys traveling overseas and cooking steaks at home. So Koo, without much ado, handing over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Anila. Welcome to all of our CX leaders and guests. Maybe let me do a screen share now. So hello, everybody. So I'm Koo. I'm from Zoho Corporation. We are a technology company. Thank you for being with us here today for this session. So I'm based in Singapore, where we have some contact tracing and control measures of DORSCON Orange still in place. A large percentage of officers have been around, using the operating hybrid model of work from home and work from office since Q3 2020. So this is how it goes in the outlook of a post-pandemic business climate in Singapore. And in some of the offices, due to safe distancing, some of the business will be able to, not host or occupy so many employees, and many employees need to work on shifts. And according to some of the business continuity practices, you might not get as much collaboration, and this also affects most businesses. So if you are a hawker in a food center and you are also affected by conditions such as work from home or work from office, but the impact that the hawkers are much less than venues with a higher rent, and also very dependent on patrons who are working in the central business districts or in the business hubs. So with less people going to the offices, patroning such places of food and acquiring places of food supplies in this area might be also affected, and also the business sentiments of spending of may also change. So personally, I would like to use a buffet in a restaurant kind of example. So previously, the customers are able to load their plates with a lot of food, and this is a part of the joy. Personally, I enjoy heading to the buffets a lot, and this is what I'll normally do. I'll fill my plates with one round of the buffet. But right now, this experience have changed, because the server will need to serve you the correct portions of food, and sometimes I might be embarrassed to tell the server, hey, give me more, and I would probably wait for the next round before revisiting that buffet chain. So why scaling customer experience can be tricky? So something that works for one customer may not work for other groups of customers, because every customer and their situation differs. So some of the input variables that always change, using in hotel and facilities kind of example, because various touch points and business sentiments do change. When the service touch points change, the perception of, let's say, contactless and business handling or some of the communications between departments and across the front desk to the customer may also change. So what actually this actually does, so we need to manage this keyword called expectations. So let's say if a restaurant and you are trying to win a Michelin star. So these are three insights of how can you become a Michelin star restaurant. So you need to have a commitment to quality, but quality differs from every different individual, and how to stand out positively from each restaurant. You might want to have a certain way you deal with a certain cuisine, or a special wine list that is very special and differentiate your restaurant from others. And also, how can you provide outstanding service, because some of the restaurants may have been cut down on manpower, and some of the restaurants have only recently been reopened. So in this scenario, so an expectation of a grand dinner to a few might be a hosted, served to the table, served at the same time. However, in some cultural differences, VIP tables get to serve first, and sometimes their dishes may differ. And this is how it goes. Even the thing about disinfection or sanitization would also be different across multiple customer touch points. In some case, I ever experienced my neighbor, doing a good complete spray down on receiving her deliveries from a delivery Grab food driver. So it's different. Nowadays, people may also want to have a private and a peace of mind. There are groups of special people who enjoy solitude and being alone. So good service to this group of people would be ensuring that you do not invade into their personal space, and to give them the peace and quiet. So only serve them what they want and nothing else. So the key thing about how we want to and bring this experience to customer service is to personalize for each moment. So imagine there's a thoughtful hot pot restaurant who has a special service like this. If you are somebody who has experienced probably a breakout or loner who wish to dine on special occasions such as Valentine's Day, you might not want to see the seat across you being empty. You might want to have a certain companion, and imagine at this moment the staff comes to you and tell you, hey, cool, would you want a companion, a teddy bear of your choice? It's going to be a very special. So you actually have some person, or a effigy for you to relate to. And there will be cases of some customers who are high rollers and want to spend big ticket items. They may want to have a session of a personalized viewing, and probably some expert advice in choosing the perfect gemstone for your special someone. So you will want to have a privileged viewing, and this translates to good customer service for that group of people. And then there are always the everyday people like me, who enjoy e-commerce and the convenience of getting a product sent to your office or your home. So you can just log into the browser or app and make a purchase, and it's very convenient, because right now whether you work in the office or you work from home, you can receive and even make purchases anytime you want. And however, there are also different groups of people who may spend $10 on a shirt, but then these people are avid supercar fans, and they may have the buying power and even some of the crazy capital to even spend 2 million on a supercar. But they don't really look kind of rich, but then these guys really have the spending power. And as businesses, you also want to reach out to this group of people. So there's actually no correct level of service, in my opinion, but rather the best fit of the customer with their service rendered. So the better your customer service experience with the intended demographics of customer, the better perceived your brand is going to be to them. So I'd like to share a concept that the service road has a two-way traffic. So on one hand, you want to serve the customers well. You want to enable, your agents to serve customers better. But on another hand, the customers actually, their interaction with our agents actually do affect, how a company or a brand serves the customer. So we aim to aspire agents to better serve customers in my later part of the presentation. So I have a concept that if you treat your agents well, and they will take care of the customers. So how do we treat them well? Not to load them with more jobs and something like that, but we need to protect these people from less complaints from Karens. How nobody signs up to get scoldings from a customer from day one. So we aim to prevent this. And coming from a maintenance and logistical kind of background, using the hotel industry as an example, preventive maintenance beats corrective maintenance, anytime. So which scenario do you actually prefer as an agent? You want the guest to check into your hotel room and then discover something is wrong with the room, and then this person calls the front desk, and you guessed it, the front desk will be the first line of defense that your brand or your customer service experience has to offer. So having a very good preventive maintenance would supersede a corrective maintenance anytime. So there's an investment in being proactive. So because an organization with effective PM speaks for itself. So if you can't tell your others that you are a very good brand or a very good business when you keep failing, and people keep using your services and things fail, and then you're always into the firefighting and corrective maintenance. So basically, Zoho Desk allows customers to find answers for themselves through self-service for that special group of people, and it helps aggregate and manage conversations within your own support teams. It can also provide support teams with crucial customer context so that you understand the different behaviors and the past experiences of certain customer, and it can allow leaders to fix processes, fix bottlenecks, and so and so. So different customers have different characteristics. I mean, I'm definitely the only cool in the world, and I have a different characteristic. So I may like to use a certain a social media to reach out to a business. So some people might be more millennials, and they might want to use Facebook to reach a certain business, or for example to even expect that using social media they can make a booking or purchase to a service. So unhappy customers are part of a parcel of customer service. We will not have we want to say that every business will have 100% of happy customers. So sometimes you will have one or two unhappy customers because they doesn't experience that consistency in your services, and sometimes these unhappy customers may flood your support channels and cause confusion within your support teams if not managed properly. So the next part is, how can we optimize for this customer's convenience? Because every customer is different, and we want to offer different types of support channels to suit different groups of customers for different industries or components of your business. So we found that, hey, people like choices, and we need to provide them a multi-channel experience. So people like to make their own choices. They like to decide whether they want to go for self-service, using a retail example, when one person walks into your store or browses your store, this person might want to spend some time interacting with your website or your store before, getting this attendant coming along and sharing, hey, cool, what do you want to buy? Please ask me, I know everything about the store, or judging from your appearance, you want to buy a certain, so some people do not want that kind of experience. So in Zoho, it's part of our whole platform. Zoho Desk is one of our key products, which helps us do customer support and ticketing within our organization. Because Zoho is, we've been around for 25 years, and we are 9,000 strong, heavily invested in our R&D, and this is what we use on a daily basis. So we also provide customer support using our social media channels. And remember this group of people who wants it nice and peaceful. Probably similar to some of the people are having your lunch while listening to me. Thank you so much for being here with me. Yep. So for this special group of people, they would value self-service. So we need to help this group of people find answers on the FAQs, and using a smart way to also show popular content, and also they'll be able to search within that self-help. And if you're wondering how can an organization build their own self-service experience, I would like to share that our platform is highly customizable. So one brand could host this experience, while another could host another experience. So there are actually many ways of how you're able to present your self-help channels to even your internal customers as well as your external customers. So the next part probably on the how do we create this ecosystem, because we have many different platforms available. So what's next? So to scale correctly, because even the smallest details matters, because customers may not remember the 99 things you do correct, but they will remember the one thing you did wrong for them. So using the same hotel and facilities management example, so it's easier said than done, because in different locations, different supporting agencies may need to support your day-to-day operations in preventive maintenance and corrective maintenance. So for example, your most reliable services, for example, the plumber, may not be able to support your SLA within 30 minutes for one branch. And then what happens if you are the CX leader or you're the maintenance manager for that? You need to have some workaround and probably create some backup plans and leverage on other existing agencies to better work around that PM or CM. So we also understood that while the customer load, the service load has also increased, because people are starting to find that the pinnacle of the businesses move very fast and they develop very good customer service strategies. So how can the rest of the organizations catch up? The one way which we find that is to increase the agent productivity, because with more agent productivity, higher the productivity, a 5-man team is able to, at working at 100%, is able to beat a 10-man team working at 30% of the production. So there's also a way how can we prioritize this productivity. So we have a platform, we have a feature that organizes the tickets to focus on what it needs to rectify now. For instance, there are some emergencies in a hotel example. For instance, hot water as a default water output. So this is a true story. Imagine you turn on the tap, you try to have a cold shower during the day, and it comes out 100 degrees hot. So what are you going to do? You're not going to be very happy, because you need to have a good bath, and then you want to dress up and want to go for your holiday. So such a things would affect a lot of things. You might also affect people doing a proposal, and even spoil people's marriage plans. So this is actually very important, because there are some crucial moments that you need the ticket to be resolved ASAP now. So you can also organize the tickets by priority, so that you'll be able to clear and ensure high satisfaction by all your customers. So the next part is, how can you fix things and ensure that you fix them correctly. So effectiveness and efficiency are two different things. So fixing a window, on one hand, it seems to be a beneficial, but on some context, if it is a couple that's quarreling, and the girlfriend wants to open the window so that you want to push the boyfriend out from the window, so that is the time you do not repair the windows. So there are different cases that you need to cater for in your business. So for example, if you want to have more context to how how your this customers or this existing customers who have bought from you before, to just understand what data is relevant. So you can also have a look at the customer details from the CRM. So in terms of a retail example, you can detect your best customers and what kind of products and offerings actually attract this person to buy from you again. And you also want to understand the past interactions to also decide, hey, why is this company having such a high rejection rates or something like that. So it might also help you understand certain delivery or logistic interactions that may even fix some of your operations. So we also felt that we are working with a lot of support engineers and agents. We also want to empower our agents to, send timely and meaningful responses to our customers. As some of the agents are not, fully white collar staff or senior management, we really want to help them, get more things done on the job. So imagine we have a team of fixers. We need to give them the best runway and the correct resources to provide their tasks, so that we do justice to our organization. We shall not force people who sign up for as a support engineer to try to craft very complicated responses, the legal level. So these kind of things can be taken care by the or if some of the CX leaders. So they are also able to reply using a one layout and one screen, so that you don't need to jump from different tabs to tab, or use a different software to also provide this experience. The next part is that if your team needs to scale and to also work with other maintenance agencies, for example, a very good plumbing agency or facilities or ventilation center to help you fix up your air conditioning or stuff like that. So how can you allow this group of fixers in our organization to manage these SLAs and to ensure that these tickets get resolved? So we want to make it very simple. And how can we make it very simple? Because the simpler we make it for this group of people that fix things in our organization, the more resources he can spend to fix the PM and the CM. And that actually, increases the brand reputation, because our businesses exist to serve, our customers. And this actually allows them to set up their service level commitments in a very if else kind of way, a logical way, and can be easily run through by the CX managers. So you can even plan for escalation that's automatic upon a violation. So this takes off a lot of load of the mind of the maintenance manager. So you can even notify customers about the important updates, and you can set up like automatic reminders in automation, and they get automatically notified. So in this way, all the fixers can just focus on fixing things, like what this video shares. So there are cases that they are always in the routine to fix things. So the KPI of the support is to clear tickets, to ensure that that there's no outstanding tickets at the end of the day, or probably as fast as possible, so that you improve the turnaround time. So this actually comes back to the PMCM part. So who are the department who has like a easier job? The front desk dispensing the key, or the facilities person who maintains the room or the facilities? Because nobody likes dirty rooms. So we need to ensure that internal teams work seamlessly, so that when the front desk dispenses a venue key or room key, the brand reputation is being protected. That okay, the PM and CM are done in good hands. And if a Murphy's law is to suddenly spring on you, you know that the CM can be rectified easily. So this is a special group of people who provides these are the fixers, and they may have their own processes, which may be slightly different from the rest of the other back end and operation departments. So process management is important. So why is it important? Because I like to use a chess example in this thing. So with the correct opening, you'll be able to strategize and do correct castling at the correct side, either on the left or the right. So if you do not have a plan, you start to be reactive and firefight according to different scenarios. Your movement and your planning might open your organization to a lot of issues, even on the credibility, and also affect your BCP. So how does we also allow you to build your paper-based processes in Zoho Desk? So for organizations who have a very good SOP, but hidden away in a folder, we ensure that we make it very easy for the person to replicate this workflow or this process into our Zoho Desk. So we want to reduce the opportunities for human error. Humans are very very smart people, and creatures, but there's some days that we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or when we have a good or bad day. So we also, on some point, we lack a certain consistency. So using a chess game example, maybe the human might win a robot, maybe the first 10 games, but I'm sure after a meal, or probably after the 20th game or the 30th game, the human will tire easily, and then it may not work well against robotics. So how we actually ensure that we get a high level of consistency, so that we are able to help scale organizations your support correctly. So we have a DIY drag and drop process builder inbuilt with together with Zoho Desk. So you will not need to work on multiple different platforms. Zoho has we are privately owned and consistently profitable. We have grown through zero acquisitions. So we own all this technology and code, and of course the support. So next, when we have such a good platform, how can we enable leaders, CX leaders like yourself? So we ensure that they are able to track bottlenecks. So like what I've shown here, reports within Desk are easily readable. So this allows CX decision makers to make data-driven decisions easily. And I also like to share the part on what gets measured gets improved. This is a chart, or say it's a flow diagram of a waiting time influence on customer satisfaction and loyalty, relationship in services. So environment and the information provided in the case of delay actually matters. When delay is being done, you wanted to know that, hey, probably Ku is having some personal emergencies. That's why he was being, he was held up for 10 minutes. Rather than you want to share with the person that, hey, this person has gone missing for a smoke break. So the context and some of the reply to customers' strategy actually also contributes to customer satisfaction. So how can you monitor all these vital statistics and to also show the overall health of your support team? So which vital statistics is very important, like what we see here, waiting time and the lack of timely delivered products actually erode trust, just the same as how erosion actually spoils a foundation. So all of our organizations actually have a trust that we do not want to erode. So erosion comes at a very slow but sure kind of process. That's why CX leaders need to have a system so that they'll be able to manage and understand and to steer this control of your help desk team, so that your agents will be able to perform better and to not to erode the trust and promise that the organizations give. So the slower the response, the slower the PM and even CM. So the first response is the initial success or total failure. Sometimes the first person showing up early to attend to a customer will actually, gives the customer more faith and confidence of your brand. And remote control example. So let me just share. Delay is an important issue for service. So one of the boxes here shown is the satisfaction with waiting environment. For instance, if I'm waiting for a certain CM to be performed, and if a hotel or facility would give me a free, a foot massage in one of their, VIP areas, I will be happy for such a wait. But in such cases, when you're unable to provide a very good waiting environment, or the perceived waiting time of your brand is so long, you know that, oh my God, this brand, is going to be a 1 hour, 2 hour wait. I'm not going to go with them anymore. So this is actually very, it has a negative impact on your brand or your business. So in life, we cannot change the winds, but I feel that we can adjust the sails. Since I have an opportunity here, I'd like to compliment customer contact week Asia's reward system, which drives positive behavior. This is actually very good. Possibly I should do some calibration to ensure people visit our exhibition booths. Probably I can do something special for people who have took a screenshot of my slides after this session, after this slide. And if they visit the Zoho Desk booth, I personally want to meet these people and treat these people coffee tomorrow at probably 2 o'clock in a Zoho office, Singapore. So the first 7 would get a free coffee from me, on the house. So next, I'd like to share that in Zoho, we treat your data like how we treat our own responsibility. The best testament to this commitment is our track record. So for the 25 years in, we continue to keep this promise to our customers. Privacy has a lot to do with choosing a business model for ourselves. So let me go through some of the simple parts of how can we restrict access. So different groups of people would want different groups of information to work with, or some managers will require information across functional departments, and some agents should be only given the correct information to facilitate speedy recovery and turn around for services. And we can control all of this with Zoho Desk, because we have a very good granular access with roles and profiles. So you need not worry too much about the wrong information going with the wrong hands. Next, we also understood that the extensibility is very important, and so within the Zoho ecosystem, we also want to make the work light for people, for organizations. So we have different organizations with different starting points. The stage of development may be different. The pinnacles of growth will be different across different organizations. So we feel that to achieve many hands make work light, we need to have a good platform like ours, and to also heavily extend this to the rest of the other customer supporting platforms. So maybe one example of I'd like to share, back in those days when you may have some configuration problem on your laptop or your client, you may want to have the technician go to your room and serve your VIP to help them connect to their Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But because of the situation that we are in now, you may want to improve the contactless experience, but to maintain or even do better in your customer service. So Zoho Assist ensures that you are able to do remote support to that VIP. And in Zoho, we also have Zoho Lens. So in Zoho Lens, I always like to share with people, a picture speaks 1,000 words, a video definitely speaks 1,000,000. So this is an example of how an extension helps. So if you are using Zoho Desk or considering to use Zoho Desk also works well with Zoho Lens. So you'll be able to assist the technician or the person on site to do the augmented reality annotations. So this will further enhance screen sharing beyond screen sharing, so that everyone of the customer, the support people, and even the CX leaders will be able to understand how the situation goes. So I'd like to end my session before we move into Q&A with a quote. So a satisfied customer is the best strategy of all. So I'm done. Thank you for attending my session. It has been lunch. So I think for those lucky winners, 7 winners who have taken some screenshots just now, you'll be able to reach me, reach my team at Zoho Desk booth, and to redeem that free coffee tomorrow at 1 p.m. So only limited to Singapore, visitors, because I'm based in Singapore. But if we are to attend future sessions, welcome everybody to connect with me and to also visit our booth. Over to you, Anila.
Thank you, Ku. That was such a practical, insight into how you can serve customers better, right? And more creatively during this pandemic period. So, one of the questions, Ku, that's come through from the audience is about preventative maintenance and how it only works if your frontline is adequately empowered. In many cultures, that isn't really the case. How do you ensure successful preventative maintenance across geographies?
Sure. Maybe I'd like to explain that in a few segments. The first thing would be, it depends on the organization the business is in. For example, if I use back the scenario, so if you are a hotel establishment, surely, if your hotel of, let's say, 10 years, you would have housekeeping managers who you promote up the ranks. And these people would be having a lot of experience on how to qualify and even know how to perform some of the maintenance tasks. But however, due to digital transformation, this person will need to be paired up with somebody who is very good in some of the software tools, so that one person may be rich in experience, the other person might be rich in how to deploy the correct tools across geolocations. I have some use case that some of the services are actually not usable in some regions like China and UAE. So imagine if you have a business that's operating globally, but you need to depend on some kind of third-party systems or integration to make these processes consistent. So that can be a challenge for most. So coming from the consistency part, I would say that you must have a baseline level of consistency to do the PM and CM, and also put in some of the tools to do the checking. Because whatever thing you can check, right, the CX managers will be able to check, and you will be able to maintain a high level of serviceability. Because in a real-time practical kind of a scenario, some CM will require swapping and maintenance of parts. So by keeping a track of which parts are being bought, procured, and replaced at timely arrangement, because there's also a mean time to break down. So all of this stuff need to be tracked, with one platform. And I'm sure Zoho has something, that we can offer along this line.
Thank you. Thanks, Ku. Hopefully Rohan finds the answer useful. I had a question as well, Ku. Just so we've put all of these tools and creative ideas in place. And I, for one, am hoping that the pandemic doesn't last forever. There's a travel bubble, that's opening up between Singapore and Australia soon. I think, fingers crossed, we can go back to normal with vaccinations. How do you take it down? How do you adapt and get back? What's the new normal? What are your thoughts?
The first part would be, getting all the staff vaccinated, and even, having a crowd control kind of a measure in place. Because for a facility to, that has a higher human traffic, you might want to put in more measures to clean up some of the commonly used areas, or you may even want to have some areas that like a BCP plan, like a certain ballrooms should not, you should not have people going into different ballrooms and stuff like that, because suddenly when there's a amount of people start to spike, and if you do not control this BCP well, and some of the maintenance that is supposedly you need to upkeep in your facilities, like your aircon must be very good, your ventilation must be good. If not, it doesn't matter how many people you have in a certain space, the ventilation is bad, you will not be able to kill all these viruses effectively.
All right. Thank you, Ku. I don't think we have any other questions. Any final thoughts before we close the session?
I want to thank the 47 people that has stuck with me and stick with us. Probably having a good time now, and I want to connect with them at the booth, so that I can treat the 7 special people tomorrow, for coffee.
That's fantastic. Cool. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today.